morning, Ms. Hassim. Good morning, Ms.
Morning,
Hassim.
Chair.
Good morning, Ms.
Morning,
Killian.
Chair.
Good morning, Ms. Killian. Good morning, General. Good morning, General.
A very good morning, Chair. A very good morning, Chair.
Thank you. Yes, Ms. Hassim.
Thank you.
Yes, Ms. Hassim.
Good morning, General. Good morning, General.
Morning. Morning.
Ms. Hassim, should we bother about what we should have in front of me? I have 4 files. What should we have? What should we have?
The chat files. So I think that's chat files. So I think 7, 8, and 9. 7, 8, and 9. We're going to continue with those for a little while longer. General, do you have those files?
I have files in front of me that we put here in front of me. I guess these are the right files.
They should be. They should be. Can you open file 8, please? Can you open file General? 8, please? Chair, file 8. Chair, page 546. Page 546.
File 8 page.
Page 546. Page 546. It's just a hangover from yesterday before we turn to a new theme, and it relates to the event at your house on 14 September 2024. And what you'll see at 546 is a conversation again between Sergeant Nkosi and General Shibiri, and at looks like 8:28 p.m. Yes, 8:28 p.m. It's chat number 6. I'll just wait for the chair to get the page. You there? Thank you, Chair. It's chat number 6. And what Sergeant Nkosi says to General Shibiri is, Kat has arrived there. And then General Shibiri responds immediately saying, I don't see him. And then he says, General Shibiri says to Sergeant Nkosi, where are you? Okay. Now, do you recall yesterday I asked about conversations between you and General Shibiri and Mr. Matlala?
Yes.
And you said that at no point did the three of you sit together and talk.
Yes.
But General Shibiri, you also confirmed, was there. What I'd like to ask you is, well, a few questions. First is, do you know why General Shibiri would be interested in knowing that Mr. Matlala has arrived?
No, I won't know, number one. And number two, I wish I could be questioned on my communications with Shibiri or with Mr. Matlala or with Mr. Nkosi. But now I get asked questions about the conversation between the two people.
Yeah, I'm getting there. It's fine. I asked you a question whether you have any idea, whether you know of why.
I don't.
Just answer the question.
No, I don't.
And we'll make progress. The second is, did you observe any conversations between General Shibiri and Mr. Matlala at your at your party?
No, not that I'm aware of. When in a busy and in the evening, really, it wasn't my focus.
Okay, so you don't, do you not recall, or is it just that you were busy?
No, I don't recall. To me, it was a, remember, we didn't know we will be here one day, so to me, it wasn't something to take into mind.
Okay, that's fine. I just wanted to put to you that this was a conversation that was happening about Mr. Matlala arriving at your house. I'm going to move off from, unless there's anything from the commissioners, I'm moving to a different topic.
Yes, can we just complete the picture, General? Good morning.
Morning, Commissioner.
This event, was it in a tent outside or was it inside the house?
It's not inside the house. It is in a tent outside.
So there was a marquee outside the house?
Outside the house.
And how many people roughly were there? You don't have to give me the exact number. Around 8 p.m. that day, how many people were there? More or less 20, more or less 40?
We planned for 20, but later as friends call one another, then you lose control of the situation. So I can't tell whether they were now ended up being 30, 50, somewhere there. But at that point in time, it's no longer a concern. The only thing is is what is happening at that time.
So between 30 and 50, you say?
It's possible, less and even less.
And I'm assuming because it's an engagement party, people were giving speeches.
No.
What was happening?
What was happening is that because it was my sons,
Yes.
with the friends and everything, so what we did was just to guide her on, like, for instance, when the lady comes, she didn't know. It was a surprise one. And she didn't know, and this one had flowers and a ring, and then as she came, that's when it was like, wow, and then even the friends, most of the friends were here and everything, and that type of exercise when she shows that she's surprised, and then this one kneel down and then talk to her and then put the ring in her finger, and then from there they go in there. So I don't remember of the speeches mostly, but it was more of a celebration.
And I'm assuming, you would have no interest in your son's friends because they are the young crowd. Your focus would be on the older crowd, including your friends and people that you know and the people that you invited.
As I indicated, that I never invited even a single friend.
No, you said Cat must make a 10. That's an invitation. Whatever you call it, when you say somebody must make a 10 at your house, that's an invitation. And I'm assuming you invited Sergeant Nkosi because he won't just show up at your house uninvited. And I'm assuming General Shibiri, you also invited him because he won't just show up at your house uninvited. Same with General Sintumule. She wouldn't just show up at your house uninvited. So at least those 4 colleagues, 3 colleagues plus Matlala, were at your house because you said they must make a 10.
That I don't deny, but I just want us to stress and keep in mind at all times is the fact that Cat is not my friend.
No, I didn't say he was your friend. I said those 4 people were at your house because you invited them.
That's correct.
And when you invite people to your house, as I said, you would welcome them because they can't just come into your house and you don't know who's in your house.
They will come and they will greet, and then I will show them where to sit.
Yes.
That's what happened.
So that part did happen.
With my colleagues, yes.
You did greet Mr. Matlala.
Like I indicated yesterday that he came in. Remember, as he came in, I wasn't waiting somewhere, waiting for his arrival and then him coming and me greeting him. It's not how it happened.
Yes. That part I accept because you said there was security at the gate that was ushering people in.
Yes.
I'm now concerned with your interaction with Mr. Matlala. You greeted him.
I greeted him. I did indicate that at some point we bump into each other.
And you welcomed him and you said you can take a seat and be comfortable.
Yes, so I greeted him and then said, no, welcome.
Yes. No, I just wanted to complete that picture. Thank you.
General, good morning. The chat where Sergeant Kosi says Cat has arrived there, it suggests that General Shibiri expected that Mr. Matlala would be there or should be there. That's the only way that this message, Cat has arrived there, makes sense, because it's not preceded by anything that explains why Sergeant Nkosi would tell General Shibiri that Cat has arrived. I mean, if you look at the texts that start at 8:03:15, General Shibiri, and then Sergeant Nkosi says at 8:03:48, 30 minutes, I'm there. That's what Sergeant Nkosi says, if you're looking at this page. And then General Shibiri says Night Rider. And the next communication between them is Cat has arrived there. It appears a random chat that's not preceded by anything. And the reasonable, I want to suggest to you and hear your comment, that it is reasonable to read it as indicating that General Shibiri expected that Matala would be there. That's why Sergeant Nkosi, without prompting from General Shibiri, tells him Cat has arrived.
I don't think there's a, nobody is denying that there's a relationship, some sort of a relationship with Matlala, with Shibiri, or with Matlala and Nkosi. So these are people, or even myself, let me include myself there. Because these are people who knew each other at that point in time. As to who is there first and who will be there, who's also coming, it's not a dispute, in dispute.
Okay. With that, are you saying there's nothing unusual if indeed General Shibiri would have expected that Mr. Matlala may have been coming to your house, that it wouldn't be unreasonable to say that because these are people that know each other?
Yes, simply because at that time Mr. Matlala was not in trouble and there was nothing really on the table, so nobody knew. I myself, I didn't know and I didn't expect. I wouldn't have taken a risk of inviting someone that we all know that is wanted or is under investigation, because my colleagues were also there. I would have been taking a big risk. But because at that point in time, we were talking about a man who is actually working with the police as a stakeholder, working with the police. So for me, really, at that point in time, now I can be killed now for that, but at that point in time, we were all innocent.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Singh.
Sorry, General, something you said, I was going to move off, but something you said prevents me from moving off this now, because you say, you would have had concern if you had known that there were allegations of criminality against Mr. Matlala. That would have been a risk. But leave that aside. You are aware that Mr. Matlala is a service provider, and you invite him to a celebration at your home. And as a service provider, bearing in mind this is not like Service Excellence Awards or those kind of situations which are formal, professional kind of environments where service providers are. This is a private, intimate affair. Isn't that contrary to the SAPS regulations and national instructions that govern how you are to manage conflicts of interest? Because isn't that a risk? So quite apart from criminality, isn't it a risk that you may be seen to be biased in favor of a service provider?
I want to answer it in twofold. The first one is the fact that I'm a detective. And if Mr. Matala is a service provider who works for supply chain, where they allocate tenders, or him supplying service in the detective space, I would be a little bit cautious in doing that. But the second thing that I want to...
Sorry, before you say the second thing, can you just repeat for me? You said if something, then you would be cautious, but I didn't quite understand.
I said I would be cautious, or maybe apply my mind in having to invite someone that I know that is a service provider in the detective space, and I invite him to me. But the supply chain is a division on its own, which is far from where I am. I don't even know the people who sit on how tenders are allocated. So I'm far from that space. So I know him as a stakeholder in the police. And that being the case, it's not like it was the first time it's happening with Matlala. Moving to the second part and say, what applies to the goose must also apply to the genders. And I tried to give such an example yesterday when Commissioner Balo says that, no, General, don't go there. To say I was trying to say this, to mention the same point and say, and this was also discussed at the ad hoc committee. When, if you remember, one of the members, Honorable Diko, saying she also attended a wedding where one of the senior managers of the South African Police Service attended a wedding of a service provider of Metropolitan. And I'm saying we've attended several incidents or events, including the 5th of March, where we were with the service provider who is actually the one awarded, I think, that the same tender that has been cancelled from Mr. Matlala. We were with that service provider, with the senior manager, because she came with those service providers. So I'm just saying, to me, you build relationship with stakeholders, and not because of they have to support you or give you something. As human beings, it happens normally, and not because there's any corrupt relationship. So I was just putting, lastly, the one that I want to put also strongly so, is the fact that even General Mkhwanazi himself met with him, and not to discuss any other thing. West of him, they were discussing on how he can help him to get more work. So I was just saying that, and I didn't even disclose it here. So I'm just saying it happens with all of us.
No, okay, I hear that. I'll ask you as we go forward and you answer to just stick to the questions as it applies to you, rather than saying, but so-and-so did this, and so-and-so did that, and so-and-so. That's the first thing. But now that you've given these examples, what is your point of giving the examples? Is it to say that they also committed wrongdoing, or are you saying there's nothing wrong with what they did?
I'm saying if it is wrongdoing on my part, it shouldn't be wrongdoing on my part when the next person can do the same thing and nothing being said about him. And in other words, you know, when George Orwell says all animals are equals but others are more equal than others, he refers to the same situation. I am standing here having to answer questions of knowing Matlala or having spoken to Matlala. But when others are doing it, it's not even a subject to be looked at or discussed. So it is my wish and my prayer that At the ultimate end, what do you call, I don't know if I'll quote it right, reward justitia culem, let justice be done though the heavens fall. Meaning, when we leave this commission, let it not be because of ours lined up through this way of the questioning that didn't get to put all the other instances where others were involved in the same exercises are not covered. But in my case, everything they said about me is all exposed and covered. I'm just praying that we will get to that point where we say, yeah, but this man who climbed the mountain and say 1, 2, 3, 4 and threw stones at a glass house, his is more double than actually what he's saying. And then let the commission be able to assess everything and all at once, rather than having a situation where he went up to the mountain, he threw stones, he's the one now who's going collecting everyone's phones, deleting that what affects him, and then at the ultimate end, we are being prosecuted, or investigated, cross-examined, all of us. And in their case, even the report that gets then given and said for further investigation, get given to him again to investigate again. It's not fair.
Okay, so you've said a lot, and you've given, I think what you're trying to give me a lesson in how the commission should be run.
Justice.
You're giving me a lesson in justice, okay. So I am not going to engage with you on that. I just want an answer to the question, okay? When I said to you, are you raising these examples because they didn't do anything wrong, therefore you shouldn't be called out for the same behavior? Or are you saying they also, what they did was wrong and they should be called out? I mean, it's a simple thing, and I don't want a lecture, please.
I didn't see anything wrong.
Okay, all right. And as regards your first part of your answer, you said that you're not in supply chain management. So, therefore, it's okay to have had a service provider present. I am making a distinction here between engaging with service providers as stakeholders in a professional gathering, that there's a difference. So just bearing that in mind, can your regulations and instructions dealing with conflicts of interest, doesn't it apply to every employee within SAPS, not only to some? So, meaning anybody who might be at risk of showing bias to service provider, even if you're not in supply chain management, that is something you need to be cautious about.
I'm not an expert in that regard or no have knowledge, deep knowledge around that aspect, other than to say that I'm sure as human beings, in the absence of being a policeman, I'm a human being. If I have a death case in the family, or I have an event, and then there's someone that I know, I have seen situations where someone says, hey, I can't invite you because obviously it's going to be questionable. That why did I invite this one or that one, maybe at the wedding. But in my case, at that point in time, I really didn't mind if he's coming, because the main reason, the main purpose was to come to collect his wife per se. But I didn't really have any problem. So I guess, Chair, I don't want to waste your time, but I just want to say I may not have a deep knowledge in terms of what the standing orders or what the regulations are saying, specifically in relation to who in fact can be invited and who cannot and under what circumstances. If he was in supply chain and I participated in the process, I would also understand. But now that is something that is far from me.
Yeah, we've dealt with that. I've explained to you why it doesn't matter whether you're in supply chain or not. It's something that would bind all employees of the SAPS. But I hear you saying you're not aware of the standing orders or regulations or instructions governing this. That's what you're saying. I'll ask you one last question on this then. Isn't it incumbent upon senior management in the service to be aware of those regulations and instructions concerning conflict of interest, particularly so that you can set an example for subordinates?
It is, in particular, when you know that you shouldn't be mixing with this person because this person is a service provider in a space where you are operating, or that affect, or that is relevant to your work environment. Now, my work environment is completely different one. I'm not in HR, I'm not in supply chain.
I'm going to leave it there, Chair.
Can I just ask a question that I should have asked General, still to do with this WhatsApp? In the same vein as my last question to you, did you inform General Shibiri, we've established he was at your house, did you inform him that Sergeant Nkosi would also be coming to your house?
I don't remember, Chair.
Yes.
I don't remember. All I know is that Sergeant Nkosi was the one actually who helped me, I think, in the mornings to put things together, and then he left.
Yes.
And then maybe he was to come later. Sometimes he would just help and go and say, I'll come back later, but doesn't come. And to me, as long as he helped me, so I didn't discuss the issue of, I might have said actually Shibiri may come or will come. I don't want to limit myself to like, no, I don't know, I don't remember, I don't know. I'm just trying to put...
You may have mentioned it.
I may have.
Okay. Well, the reason I ask is because if you look at that page 546, the very last message there, which is message number 8, it has General Shibiri asking, where are you? And then it says Kanji. And then if you turn to the next page, he corrects himself. And then he says Kanti. And this is a message to Sergeant Nkosi. And that message conveys that he was expecting him to be there. That's why I'm asking whether you would have told him that Sergeant Nkosi would arrive.
Yes.
Okay. But you say you may have.
I may have, but may I comment on something?
Yes, sure.
The Sergeant Nkosi, Shibiri, they're also colleagues and they know each other and they're close as well. At work, you will have people that you have a good relationship with and that you may not have a close relationship. So, to me, it's not a surprise even when they ask one another whether you're coming or not.
Okay, to your house.
Yes.
Okay, that's fine. And then before Ms. Hassim moves on to a different topic, let me just clarify something from the discussion that we had yesterday. And this relates to the circumstances in which Mr. Kaula was arrested. Ms. Hassim, are you still going to go to that, or you're done with that topic?
I'm done with that topic,
Okay.
Commissioner.
You explained to us the team, there's a team, I think it's Brigadier Ramangwa, who was responsible for this. And then clearly we know that Sergeant Nkosi got involved in the way that it is being described. What I wasn't sure about is how does that case, and this comes from something that you had said earlier in your evidence about some matters being provincial, being at province, being dealt with at province. How this matter of Mr. Kaula, how does it become a matter at national level. If you could just explain how the system works. Does it mean a complaint was laid at national head office, that it's not being dealt with by province, that you got involved in it? If you just explain those processes.
If you remember, Commissioner, yesterday I did mention that actually the matter, the warrant of arrest, it was reported and warrant of arrest applied for by the province office, number one. Number two, if, and I don't know how the warrant of arrest got to, or the warrant of arrest, which means it might have been sent to me as well, or to Brigadier Ramangwa.
Brigadier Ramangwa is where? At national or province?
At national.
Okay.
And then also working with the tracking teams, all the tracking teams. So in that capacity, he will get it as well, because he's at national office and is able to disseminate it to different provinces that has got tracking teams to say he is at head office, and we have a database of all the warrant of arrest and all the people that must be tracked down. So that is why he will have access to that.
And does that change? I mean, if because of where he's sitting, he then has access to the database, does that change this case from being a provincial case to being a national case?
No.
It remains a provincial case.
It remains the South African Police Service case. When I say that, it means that...
all right, please, General, let's not be facetious about it. I am asking the difference between a provincial, I know they're all SAPS cases. Please accept, I understand that. So I'm asking a different question. You've said that the complaint would have been raised at provincial. I'm trying to understand, how does it escalate to become a national case that now Ramangwa is, Ramangwa, I think, is now dealing with, now Sergeant Nkosi is dealing with it. Now we know, I think he said Zungu is DPCI, and I'm not concerning you about all of those. I'm just trying to understand your processes. It's a provincial case. It's now in the hands of someone who is at national, who constitutes a team to go and arrest this person. I'm trying to understand, does it change from provincial to national? Firstly, maybe let me take it bit by bit. Did this case change from being a provincial to a national case?
No.
Okay.
But we are able to work together and become a joint project. And not only in this one, in many others.
Okay. And in this case, and I'm still trying to understand your processes. I'm not saying to you yet, if I will get there, I'm not yet saying something went wrong here. I'm still trying to understand your processes. So from how, now that Mr. Ramangwa or Brigadier Ramangwa is dealing with it, where is the role of the province to whom this complaint was laid? I mean, my layman expectation would be it remains a provincial docket. The investigating officer would be a provincial person. The one who constitutes team to go arrest would be a provincial, maybe assisted by national, but the in charge would be a provincial. That's my layman expectation. So I'm asking you to explain whether that's indeed what happened or this is different, and then we'll get to why.
It happens that when a matter is reported at provincial office, sometimes you find that because they are overwhelmed by the situation, bearing in mind the number of cases each investigator is having, sometimes you find a difficult complainant or a complainant who's desperate or who is crying, who also reports to head office or to a minister or deputy minister or to the national commissioner, some even to the president. To an extent now, when head office gets involved, normally or under normal circumstances, it will come to me. From any minister, deputy minister, it will come to me because I'm the one now in charge of all of them. Now when it comes to me, I will then also tell someone, allocate someone here at head office and say, follow up with the province and make sure that this matter gets the attention it deserves. Or if this is a matter that I see that this one we can make quick impact, if we jump in and work on it, all of us, we do that. A clear example is this one of Jerry Bushoha, Mr. Bushoha, and the one of the journalists that were killed in Mpumalanga, where the complaint comes. It's a provincial thing, but the complaint comes now to head office and say, not much has been done, please get involved, and then we get involved. That's how we got involved, not because of,
So for Brigadier Ramangwa to then assume the role that he played, it would have had to come, this from province would have had to come to you first.
That's correct.
Okay. Did that happen in this case?
I think so.
It came to you first?
I think so.
And then you assigned him to deal with it?
That is correct.
And when it comes to you, through whom does it come to you? Who at province brought this case to you?
Where I'm sitting, I can't remember now how it came to me. If I was in the office, I was going to ask to say, did it come through an email? Was it reported by the policeman? Did it come from the client, the complainant, or where does it, how did we get it? I would know, but at this present moment, I can't remember how it got to me, or whether it came to me, or from the province to Ramangwa or to me, because they are also on the ground. They are working with the provinces. So at this present moment, I'm really not able to say that for sure it came from province to me, or from the complainant to me, or from the complainant to Ramangwa, or from the complainant, maybe, I don't know if Fanny got it from who, Mr. Nkosi got it from who. So it's something that I cannot with absolute certainty say in such a way that at a later stage, then there comes a record or proof and say, no, but this is not how it happened. This is how it happened with evidence that I don't have where I'm sitting.
Yeah, I think, General, that last part, don't be concerned about it for now. That's why I first asked you about processes. The way I think part of the evidence that we've had and emphasized over and over is there's a command structure. You know, people don't just go about doing their own thing. So I would expect, and please tell me if I'm wrong, that communication to you from province has got a structure. There's a way of communicating, a command, I think. That's what the language that has been used, that a police officer who's sitting in Sentin police station can't just pick up the phone. That's not how your command structure works. They can't just pick up the phone and say, General Sibia, there is this. Am I correct in proposing that?
Commissioners, the space we are working in is I don't want to say it's very funny. It's doable. It's possible sometimes for an investigator and say, I have an interference here, or it look like so-and-so has got interest, or the people I'm working with, some of them are close to this type of a person or around that, and say, can you take this docket? I don't mind. Then the an investigator can arrange that this docket go up there. Like, it just can happen any way. It's not always the case where I have to write a letter to the provincial commissioner or to the deputy provincial commissioner. It's how it's supposed to work under normal circumstances, or from the provincial commissioner to head office. Like in the case of Mr. Boshoha, I personally contacted the deputy provincial commissioner. I don't know whether it was in writing or telephonical, but I did speak to him, and then they did, initially for quite some months, in between, or weeks, they were not sending it, and nothing was happening on the case. Up until I then, or it was after I got that call from a visit from Mr. Boshoha's brother-in-law. That's when I called them now and say, we want that docket, and I think they give us a duplicate but they didn't give us everything. They did give us a docket, and then that's when I allocated a bigger team to run with the matter. So what I'm saying, Commissioner, is that there's no hard and fast rules on the process itself. It may have some gaps in terms of communication or in terms of how, strictly speaking, things could work. And another last example is this one. Let's say from KZN, initially when they say we got a call from organized crime, they needed assistance. Then organized crime says, we never. And then comes the issue of, no, General Kumalo from CI made it what do you call it, from intelligence. And then we then intervene from that angle as from General Kumalo.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. You see, General, you say, and if you don't remember, you don't remember. I can't press, and for you to remember things if you don't remember them. You say you can't say who spoke to you about this, and then you spoke to Brigadier Ramangwa. At least that much you accept. You spoke to Brigadier Ramangwa, and that's how he gets involved. But you say you can't say whether you got a call from the client who is the complainant, whether you got it from someone at province or the police station. That's fine. I can work with that. But the difficulty then is that Sergeant Nkosi remembers that you called him and said you are under pressure from the deputy minister. The deputy minister, when he was asked who's the deputy minister, I think he said Deputy Minister Matale. I think that's what he said. So we will have to, he will come back and testify and he'll be asked further questions. But if he's firm, he remains firm in his evidence that you told him that you were under pressure from the deputy minister, when in fact you say you don't remember, then I think it would be fair, and maybe that's what I'm putting to you, that it would be, on the one side you don't remember, we've got a witness who says, I firmly say this is what he said to me, that it may well be reasonable to accept that in fact that's what happened, because you don't remember, so it may well be the deputy minister who called you. That's what I don't remember means. It means could be anyone, and now you've got a witness who puts a name to it. And that name is you told him that you were under pressure from the deputy minister. Do you want to comment?
I was never under pressure from the deputy minister. Of course, you do sometimes will get that pressure from the deputy minister. And I don't say Deputy Minister Matala, or from the National Commissioner, or from the minister. In this sense, if the family complains, we also don't know how they get the telephone numbers of the ministers or deputy ministers. If the family keeps on crying on to the minister, and the minister knows that I've assigned this matter to the detective, to General Sibia, and we haven't been able to contact the family or deal with the family. And the deputy minister get a call again from the family and say, I haven't been contacted. Under such circumstances, you'll get a call that says, but General, I spoke to you about this matter and the family keeps on complaining that they are not being attended to. And what do you mean when you talk about service delivery and the Batopele principles? Why can't you just really deal with this thing, or must I? Maybe,
General, let me stop you. I do accept that you possibly do get calls, even from members of the public who happen to have your number. Yes. So I'm not quarreling with that. May well be your everyday experience, and I expect it to be like that. What I'm putting to you, or what I'm discussing with you, is that you don't remember how you got involved with this. Who called you? Was it province? Was it the complainant themselves or somebody else? You don't remember. And that's your evidence. And I'm not challenging that you say, I don't remember who. I don't challenge that. All I was putting to you was, well, you don't remember. We have a witness who says you told him it was the minister. So you've got those, and so we have to, it may well be that in the end, it's his evidence that stands because he says, I remember. This is what happened. So you can't dispute it, it seems, because that's what I don't remember means. It means you don't dispute when Sergeant Nkosi says you told him it's the minister, deputy minister who's putting you under pressure. And I was just asking you to comment on that.
I never got any pressure from the minister.
Okay.
I never told Sergeant Nkosi that please do this. I've got the pressure from the minister. Not even at the level of Sergeant Nkosi. I would understand if it was Brigadier Ramangwa saying that. But in many instances, I would also tell them that, guys.
But what do you mean not at the level of Sergeant Nkosi?
The level of Sergeant Nkosi is at the lower level. I can't say to him that I'm getting pressure from the minister. I would say to Brigadier Ramangwa, please, any query that comes from the National Commissioner ministers or ministry, let's also make sure that we don't get the second complaint on the same issue.
You deny that you spoke. Can I understand from what you're saying that not at the level of Sergeant Nkosi? Maybe I don't remember your evidence yesterday if you have answered, if you were asked this question and you answered and you can repeat it. Do you deny that you spoke to Sergeant Nkosi at all about this matter?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Mr. Sim.
General, I'm going to take you to another part of the WhatsApps between you and Sergeant Nkosi. Can you go to file 7, page 390, please?
390, same file.
File 7.
Page?
390.
390. Before I go there, I haven't opened it yet. I want to ask, Chair, I just needed 1 minute with my senior counsel to ask something from my senior counsel that I wanted to speak about, but I want to hear her advice, if it's doable. If the chair says no, I will then proceed, but I just wanted to ask for 1 minute.
Please, please do that over the lunch, tea break, General.
Okay.
Yes.
It's because of, it is maybe in relation to where we are at this present moment. So I wanted to just ask her that will it be fine if I go this way, or what is your advice? But it's okay.
Are you able to anticipate the question, or does the issue apply broadly?
No, Chair, it's fine. I'll go on this one. I haven't even opened. I don't know what is coming, and I'm not worried about what is coming here. I just wanted to make sure that based on 1, 2, 3, 4, can I put this or shouldn't I? So that's why I wanted to.
All right, General, we'll adjourn and we'll come back when it's indicated to us to come.
Just 2 minutes will be done.
I will wait to be told to come back. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let's adjourn. General. You are ready to proceed, eh?
I'm ready to proceed, Chair. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Most welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, General. So it's file 7, page 390.
Is this or is this one?
Yes.
On it,
Okay, so it's chat number 1 that I'm referring you to. You'll see that this is a conversation between you and, well, the chat is between you and Sergeant Nkosi, as you know, and you forward him this message. Could you just read that message into the record, please?
Hi, General. My apologies for the break in protocol and the direct approach, but it is an important matter, and trying to understand which spokesperson is on duty will only serve to delay us. I need to afford you right of response regarding a story which will be published tomorrow. It is based on an urgent court application brought by Vusumusi Matlala and his security company, CAT VIP Protection. My Matlala names you in his document specifically. I guess it was a typo to say Mr. Matlala. That he was questioned on whether or not he knew you. He said he did, and that you gave permission, organized that his X-ray machines be stored and used at the SAPS college. Important context is that his company, Medi24 Tshwane District, recently was awarded a SAPS health service tender. Technically, court documents are protected speech, but I reach out to you anyway to see if you want to respond. Feel free to do so via the spokesperson. I can accommodate this up until 9 p.m. tonight. I will also send you relevant excerpts of his court documents.
Okay, before I ask my question on this, the next chat is a screen, you can see it's an attachment, and it's, the clearer version of it is at page 446. So can you go to 446 to look at it? Alternatively, you can look at it on the screen if you don't want to lose your page.
For 46, I've got it.
Is this the excerpt of the affidavit deposed to by Mr. Matlala?
I don't know. I haven't seen it.
This is the affidavit that was sent to you together with that message. Did you look at it?
Yes, I see it.
Yes, so, okay. You forwarded both the message and this attachment to Sergeant Nkosi. I take it this was from a journalist, is that so?
Yes.
Do you recall the journalist who sent this to you?
I don't know, I don't recall the journalist, but I do admit and accept that I did get this.
Did you respond to this journalist who asked you this question? There's a deadline of 9 p.m.
Under normal circumstances, I respond because what I've learned about journalists, if you don't respond, then they'll put it as is, and it's your problem that you didn't respond. So I do respond so that at least my version is heard.
So did you respond to this?
I did, I guess. I take it that I responded.
You say you take it that you're saying you think you would have responded. Is that what you say?
I think so, because, Chair, I think, I don't know how many times I've said it, I'm operating from my memory. I don't have my device.
You say your practice is always to respond.
Is to respond.
And on that basis, you say you must have responded.
I must have responded. If I don't respond, it will be one or two incidences where I think this one is too personal and maybe working with the people that are trying to destroy me. Then I just leave it sometimes.
Okay, so the content of this message to you is about Mr. Matlala naming you in these court documents.
Yes.
Why did you forward it to Sergeant Nkosi?
I might have to say, look what this man is saying, and it's not true.
Did you have any conversation with Sergeant Nkosi about it?
No.
About this?
No.
No, okay.
I don't remember having any conversation with him about it.
Okay. So I just want to take you to what happens at the same time. This was on the 22nd of December. If you go to page...
Sorry, Chair. I want to ask a question, Chair. I'm in this screen now. I want to also the public to know what is my response to this question, because now I'm just get shown this message, then I leave this message and they take to another conversation. But that what is being said by Mr. Matlala in that message about me, why can't I be given a chance now to say, okay, what was your response on this message? I'm not running ahead, but I'm also saying the line of questioning must also afford me an opportunity to clarify things that the public also need to know. But at the ultimate end, this is not true, because I never gave Mr. Matlala any permission to put X-rays or whatever. I never gave him such permission. It never happened. I took what Mr. Matlala came to the National Commissioner. The National Commissioner rejected it. I gave feedback. So which means that what the journalist was inquiring about was squarely false. So
Right.
Then we can get to the next level.
Right. Can you now just please turn to page 139?
Same file.
Same file. Okay, so you'll see on this page, chat 1, 2, and 3. This is the chat between Mr. Matlala and Sergeant Nkosi. Okay. The first chat, it's also on the 22nd of December, and it says there's a news article regarding a certain general in SAPS whom they're trying to associate with me in our court application. I said I was told to ask him to grant us permission to utilize the hospital inside the Pretoria West SAPS College from a certain brigadier. The reason they referred me to him is because at the time he was acting as a national commissioner. Is there a way we can rectify the statement, because now it looks like I'm very close? Somehow that will compromise his reputation. And now they're publishing the story tomorrow on News 24. So this is a message, there's 3 messages here that go together. This is the first one that is forwarded to Sergeant Nkosi, and it appears to be a message that he had sent to his lawyers to correct the affidavit. And you'll see that in chat number 3.
Yes.
Yes, you'll see that in chat number 3, where he forwards the screenshot of his conversation with his lawyer. And that screenshot, if you want to see it more clearly, is on page 447.
447. I'm on it.
Okay, and it's a conversation between Mr. Matlala and his lawyer. His lawyer says, okay, how do you want to rectify the statement? And then he explains how he would like it to be rectified. And he says, and I'll, for your benefit, read it out, that the brigadier who is in charge of recruitment from SAPS suggested that I ask permission from the National Commissioner to utilize the hospital which is inside SAPS Training College to conduct medicals for new recruits. And by that time, General Sibiya was acting as the National Commissioner. So that's how I knew of him that day, because his name was mentioned to me once, not that he gave me permission to use the hospital. And then his lawyer says, okay, I follow, I understand. Okay, so he's explaining how he would like his statement, his affidavit that he had filed, to be revised. And then, finally, if we go back to page 196, oh, sorry, not 196.
We were from
139, thank you.
Yes.
139.
Yes. If you go back to 139, you'll see the message from Mr. Matlala to Sergeant Nkosi saying, please forward this to him. I asked my lawyers to rectify that mistake. Do you see that's chat number 2?
I do.
Right? So he says, please forward this to him. I asked my lawyers to rectify that mistake. Again, we're still on 22 December 2024. Now, if you go to page 196, okay?
Chair, just to ask a simple question, I understand, I'll respond. It's just I'm looking at us going from, go to page so you read this chart, then go to that page, read this chart. Is it not possible to go, as we go into this question where you say, this is the one that this is, please send it to him, what is your comment? To that one, please
No,
your comment. I'm just asking.
No, please let me do the questions.
Right.
Don't tell me how to ask questions.
No,
I'm
I'm
going
not-
to give you an opportunity.
I'm not telling how to answer the questions. I'm just, my concern is just, I see myself now moving from read this chart from 132, go to 447, go to 139, go to 446. So that's why I'm just asking that now. I find myself paging, but I understand as well. This is the line
So
of
what I'm
question.
doing by going through these is to put the full picture to you so you can see. I don't take you by surprise. I'm going to put the full picture to you so you've got the full set of chats. And then I can put my question to you after that. So you will have an opportunity to respond to all of this. I'm not going to leave it behind. It's page 196.
And my apologies, Council, that you, it shouldn't be like I want to tell you how to ask questions. It's just that even myself, I sometimes feel a little bit.
No, that's fine, General. That's why I'm explaining to you why I'm doing it this way. I'm not leaving, it's one topic, but I want you to see the full
I'm at
picture.
196 now.
196. So this now is between Sergeant Nkosi and you, this conversation. So what we had seen on 139 was Mr. Matlala saying, please forward these to him. I asked my lawyer to fix it. And now what happens here, we see in 196 that indeed Sergeant Nkosi forwards you those messages from Mr. Matlala immediately on the same day, 22nd December. So you'll see the set of chats from number 1 to number 4. It's all messages. The first is, there's a news article, please forward this to him. I asked my lawyers. Then the screenshot with the lawyers, please show him. Meaning, please show you this. Okay. So, my question is, why? Well, let me first say this. Let me take a step back, because you wanted to respond. And I think you have, but let me give you the opportunity again. Did you assist Mr. Matlala in obtaining access to the training college or to the use of the training college in a particular way at this point in time in 2024 or in January 2024?
No, and I'm far from that process as well. So I could not, even if I wanted to, from where I am operating, I can't even put my finger there. It's far from me.
Okay. And you say that's what you would have told the journalist in any event at the time?
Yes.
But then you forward this to Sergeant Nkosi. He then forwards it on to he then has this conversation with Mr. Matlala, this exchange. And then Mr. Matlala sends these messages indicating that he's recanted his affidavit and he wants Sergeant Nkosi to show it to you. Comment on this if you can. Why was Mr. Matlala concerned that you need to see that he rectify it? Why was he concerned not to upset you? Because that's what it seems like.
Because he knew that was not true, and he could also know that this thing is they're actually trying to destroy me. Those that went to the journalist and gave the journalist some information, they were trying to destroy me. So you could see that they are using him to try to destroy him. That is why, or to destroy me or him. That is why he would say, look, this is what happened. So that is why, the reason why.
Why do you say that somebody went to the journalists with this to try to destroy you, with the story that's not true?
Because journalists don't wake up one day with a story and just send to a person for inquiries unless they were approached by someone.
Well, no, well, you do get investigative journalists who are following a story, and what it seems like here is this journalist had access to this affidavit, and in the affidavit, Mr. Matlala did say that you had facilitated his access to the training college. So Mr. Matlala did in fact say that. The journalist wasn't given information by some third party.
Now, the nicest thing about the whole thing is the fact that it never happened. He was never given any accommodation or permission, even anything. He came to see me as an acting national commissioner. And then what he said to me...
General, I think it was yesterday when I asked you to please respond to questions directly, and that if you do so will make a lot of progress. What you are saying now does not answer the question. Please repeat your question, Ms. Hassan.
Thank you, Chair. So my question to you is, you said that there were third parties who were trying to smear you, and a journalist would not have raised this otherwise. What I put to you is that what this shows is that the journalist had access to Mr. Matlala's affidavit, in which Mr. Matlala said that you facilitated access. And I'm not commenting on the correctness or not of it at this point in time. I'm just saying he did say that, that you did give him access. So on that basis, do you accept that it couldn't, why do you still persist? Do you still persist that it was a third party that approached the journalist rather than the journalist coming upon it herself?
I am reminded, I take it that it came from the court papers.
From the court papers?
Yes.
Okay. All right, and then my question was about Mr. Matlala seeming to be concerned, not to upset you. I think you've answered, but do you mind just repeating your answer to that question?
Well, at this point in time, I can't say why in his mind he felt that he didn't want to upset me, but he knew the truth, that in actual fact he never got assistance from me because he never had access, even for one day at the college or anything in writing to assist him to get access there. So it's a transaction that, or it's something that never happened at all, that never...
I think your answer was you wanted to set the record straight by telling the truth. I think that, summarizing, I think that was the essence of your answer.
Thanks for the assistance, Chair.
Thank you.
And he wanted to show you that he's setting the record straight.
Thank you, Chair.
Okay.
Can
Thanks.
you just do this? Because several times now you've mentioned that the meeting happened when you were an acting national commissioner. Can you just give us the exact dates when you were the acting national commissioner of police? I'm assuming there would be a letter appointing you to say from this date to this date, you are appointed in General Masemola's absence as the acting national commissioner of police. Do you have it, or do you have the exact dates?
I think the people who can assist us to give us that letter, either the commission's investigators or us writing to the... I'm saying this because I don't have anything.
But you don't remember the date?
Within that date, he came to see me. I know I was the acting national commissioner at that time. I don't have anything that I can show because I don't have it. But I was at that time the acting national.
Yeah. The reason why I'm asking is, remember, we've moved. Sergeant Nkosi said it was December 2023. You at some point said it was in January, and then you changed to say it was in February. That's why that date becomes important for me, because I need to know when exactly you were the acting National Commissioner of Police. But I'm sure we can find it, so let's not, if you don't know, let's not delay.
Perhaps, I mean, we can find that out, of course. But do you remember for how long you acted as National Commissioner at that point in time? Was it a few weeks or a few months?
No, normally it will be either a week or either 3 days. It's only when the National Commissioner is away or not around. So sometimes it will happen that it's on leave, maybe for 14 days or for 10 days. It does happen. So I don't have a clear record of for how many days, but it was few days.
A few days, a week?
It could be 3, 4 days. It could be 2 days, somewhere there. I'm not sure.
Well, we'll find out. Okay, thanks. I'm going to move off this to another topic, Commissioners.
Let me ask my question. General, when you forwarded this question from the journalist to Sergeant Nkosi, what was the reason for that?
As I indicated to her that I just say, look at what this man is saying about me in court, and you know it's not true. Saying to Nkosi, you know it's not true.
Yes.
And it was purely based on the fact that he knows him very well. I knew they were close.
Okay. And you didn't send it to him with the expectation. You say you knew that they were close. You didn't send it to him with an expectation that he would raise the matter with Mr. Matlala.
I knew that he would. In situations like those, you also avoid to confront the person because it looked like now I'm confronting the person. So I just sent it to you and said, but this never happened.
But you knew that he would. You say you knew that Sergeant Nkosi would raise it with Mr. Matala.
Yes, and to me it wasn't really, I knew he would at the ultimate end.
Okay. And so when Mr. Matala, in page 196 that you looked at now, there is that message which seems to be a correction of Mr. Matlala's way of correcting what he says in the affidavit. And then the next message, I'm looking at page 196, Mr. Matlala says to Sergeant Nkosi, please forward this to him. I asked my lawyers to rectify that mistake. So now Mr. Matlala is directing Sergeant Nkosi to engage with you about this. You see that?
Yes,
the text says he must show this to you.
Yes, Commissioner.
Okay. And you can comment if you want to, but I pick this up in the context of yesterday's discussion where we had a conversation about Mr. Nkosi, or Sergeant Nkosi rather, appears to have been the go-between between you and Mr. Matala. In this case, you decided, you explain, you say, I didn't want to confront him. I didn't want to raise it with him because I don't want it to look like I'm confronting him. I think that's what you said earlier on. You say you expected that he would, because they know each other. Sergeant Nkosi would raise this with Mr. Matala. Indeed, he does raise it with him. And that's why Mr. Matala responds and says, please forward this to him. I asked my lawyers to rectify this mistake. So obviously they have discussed this. It does lend itself to, in fact, Sergeant Nkosi, when he says it was agreed that you would be the go-between, we see this consistent conduct where he's dealing with Mr. Matala on matters that concern you, and he reports to you. He conveys things between the two of you. It seems that his evidence that there was that agreement may well be the truth in this case.
All I can vehemently deny to this commission is that there was never a meeting nor an instance where we sat down and we agreed that Mr. Nkosi will be our go-in-between. Yes, I do accept that I actually was talking to him. And in most instances, I didn't even know that some of the things that I'm talking to him, he would automatically just send to him. Some of the things was just meant for me and him maybe because of our usual communication. But what I just want to stress, Chair, is that there was never an instance where we sat down and agreed that he will be a go-in-between. Even though the circumstances and the whole picture being painted may seem like that, but a meeting never happened.
Okay.
It is not being painted, General, it's emerging. There's a big difference. A picture that is emerging, not a picture that is being painted. Do you follow me?
I follow what the Chair is saying. Chair is experienced and has dealt with this since for a very long time. So my putting of words may not be adequate enough or explain exactly how it emerged. So I respect that, Chair.
Thank you, then.
No, that's fine, Chair. Let me maybe then put it differently, General. You say there was never a meeting so you differ with Sergeant Nkosi on his account of what he says happened. But can I then put this to you for your comment that there may not have been a meeting on your account. You say there was never such a meeting, but it's what appears is at least there was that kind of conduct. So it may have happened because of how people were behaving amongst yourselves. You were behaving that way without having an agreement about it. But in the end, what seems to have happened is Sergeant Nkosi became the go-between, maybe by default, because you happened to talk to him about matters of concern. He's close to Mr. Matala, and he also has conversations with Mr. Matala, and then he feeds back to you. That's the picture that emerges, and I'm not insisting that you sat down and had a meeting. I'm speaking more to, in practice, it seems that's what happened in fact.
What Commissioner is saying is 100% correct. What I just want to put on the table, Chair, is that, yes, this was the case maybe with Nkosi in terms of how we were talking and how it was happening. But what I want to put just on the table, whether it's accepted or rejected, is that let's take Sergeant Nkosi and put him in the center. Let's draw the same communication to General Mkhwanazi, to General Sintumule, the attendance of the events, the biking together, the communication, the same approach. If we look at it, I'm just trying to say, I'm going to be left in a picture where, yeah, there was this agreement, there was this meeting, and there was this thing, but it was just a norm, a normal practice where he was a socialite and talking to many senior officials. I was just putting that on the table, Chair. That's all.
All right. Thank you, General. I mean, I put it to you because that's what Sergeant Nkosi says. I think I want you to understand that the discussion with you right now is about what Sergeant Nkosi has said about you and Mr. Matala. So to the extent that you don't hear me in my engagement with you now mentioning anybody else, it's because we're not discussing those other people. We're discussing what Nkosi said. And these exchanges that seem to confirm that in fact he did become the go-between. You say no meeting like that, but at least you accept that by conduct, maybe because of his close relationship to both of you, by conduct he became the go-between effectively. That's all I was checking with you.
So,
thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Thanks, Ms. Asu.
Thank you, Commissioner. We'll come back to the issue of the relationship and the important sort of role that Sergeant Nkosi appears to play. And perhaps we can look at it in relation to the next topic that I want to take you to, and that is at page, in the same file, page 232. Chair, I notice it's 11 o'clock. I'm not sure if you want to take the adjournment now or later.
Let's continue until 1:15.
Are you at page 232?
Yes.
Okay, again, we're back now to a conversation between you and Sergeant Nkosi. And chat number 4 is what I want you to have a look at. And that's on the 22nd of March, 2025, where you sent Sergeant Nkosi a copy of a, you forward to him this message from a journalist. Could you just read that message into the record, please?
So I should kindly read this message?
Yes, please.
Of chat 4.
Yes.
Good morning, Nonkululeko. My name is Abraham Mashego. I'm a journalist working for the City Press newspaper. I'm currently working on a story based on the audit findings that recommended that Police Commissioner Fanny Masemola should terminate the contract with a company owned by a businessman, Usumusi Matlala. The recommendation was made in January and it further recommends criminal charges to be laid. I'd like to know from you what has happened since the recommendations at the City Press is aware that Matlala continued to receive payment from SAPS. My deadline is by 15:30 today.
Was this message sent to you by the journalist, or was this forwarded to you by I think it might have been, and might want to look at the following messages by Major General Mkhwanazi. Do you remember? If not, we can just go through the next few messages.
It might have been sent by Nonkululeko Pokani because it's a SAPS. It's a SAPS she's in charge of communication at SAPS. Maybe, I don't know for my response or whether there's anywhere where I fit in, I'm not so sure, but I could really, maybe if I was having my own gadget, say some things with absolute certainty. At this present moment, I'm weak in coming out strong on some of the things.
Okay, no, that's fine, but if you have a look at number 5, I think this is a forwarded message again, number 5, and then number 1 on the next page. So, number 5 says, "Good morning, General, Lieutenant Generals. Kindly find above media inquiry received from Abraham Mashego at 10:21 this morning. I will engage the relevant division and share the response shortly. Regards." And then the next message on the next page is, "Good morning, Mr. Abraham Mashego. This is an internal matter regarding SAPS and suppliers. We reserve our comments for now. Regards, Major General Nonkululeko Pokani." So these are a set of messages that are forwarded to you, it seems. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Do you know anything about the audit findings against the audit into the contract that was awarded to Mr. Matlala?
No. I have never seen even the report at this stage until now.
Okay, well, if you go a little further down on page 233, you send to Sergeant Nkosi at chat number 2. The last page of the preliminary audit report recommending the termination of Mr. Matlala's contract. Now, let me just tell you where you'll find a clear copy of that. It's at page 300 in the same file. You can take a couple of minutes to look at it. You'll see that it's the last page of the preliminary audit report. You see the heading at the top right of the page.
Yeah, preliminary audit report bit 19 of 1/9/1/94 TP.
That's
Yes.
right. That's right. And then it's the page with the recommendations, recommending that the expenditure be declared possible irregular expenditure for further assessment, that the bid should be terminated, that evidence of procurement irregularities were observed in the bid, etc. You see that? So you forwarded this to Sergeant Nkosi, but why do you share with Sergeant Nkosi this confidential preliminary audit report?
I don't think it was a confidential preliminary report because this thing, I think it was on the media. That's why you see Abraham Mashego, I think, because it's not something that was given to me or that I had. It's not a confidential report. It has been in the newspaper. Even now, you will see where there is IGI and maybe certain faces, Kumalo, General Kumalo, Masemola. So it's something that is on the newspaper. So when you share with a colleague that you work with closely, because I did send it to him. If I did, yes, and I don't say I didn't. But it's because of the fact that this is something that we've always known that is happening or is going to happen at some point.
You've always known. Since when did you become aware that this was happening?
Remember, we come back to from the charts where we were reading the thing that come from court where they say, I assisted Mr. Matlala to have access to the coalition and all that. So
No, but that was different. That had nothing to do at all with the contract or any audit or any investigation into the contract. That affidavit was what Mr. Matlala filed in December in an urgent application where he was seeking the return of what he alleged were stolen items when his office was raided. That's what that affidavit was about.
this one.
No, yes, the one that you just referred to. You said we already knew, you said you referred to the affidavit we looked at earlier about the training college. I'm saying that isn't correct because that was about a different issue. It wasn't about the contract.
You see, in today's world, where we all know that you do know so-and-so, you do know this kind of a person or this person, and you come across something like this from the media or from the newspaper or from wherever it was from, and then maybe I shared it with Nkosi. It wasn't really a confidential document. It is. I don't see it somewhere marked confidential or secret or top secret. So,
General, the
There's a watermark.
The watermark says it's confidential. So why do you
The
say
whole
you don't
across the
see
page.
it anyway?
my apology. Normally, because when we do it on top and below, so this one slipped my mind.
But do you accept that this one says it's a confidential
It was a
document?
confidential document, but
And it's not an excuse. You see, if somebody has leaked a confidential SAPS document to a journalist, and you come into possession of that document, it's not an answer to say, somebody leaked it before, so I can also leak it. That's not how it works. If it's confidential, it's confidential. So you don't perpetuate the leak.
Here, once it's in the public domain, it's no longer confidential. I understand if it comes from everybody who's in this room who signed the confidentiality, and then this document leaked from inside here, and then one of us leaked it to outside. It's a leak. But once now it is something that is either in the newspaper or is going to be in the newspaper, then I think that is.
No. Okay, finish, sorry.
I see this document, and unfortunately for me, is that because of the fact that I'm operating where I could say, but when I look at my phone, I can't find it, or I don't think it comes from me, but I am accepting it because I've been accepting all the communications that did come from me. And I'm saying, to me, Sergeant Nkosi is a colleague. He's still in the police. And a confidential is not like a top secret document that cannot be shared by any other person. Confidential within the police, it can still be shared within the police. If I gave it to Nkosi, maybe I sent it to Nkosi, it's possible that I might have sent it to him, and if I did, in my mind, I might have really not taken into consideration the fact that, but this is a confidential document, and even if it comes from a journalist, still I cannot send it to any other person. It's just like when there is a social media saying wrong things about the person, then you forward it also to another person and say, but why did you continue forwarding it? So I'm just saying that.
I'm sorry, Mr. Hassim. Under normal circumstances, General, that would be a cogent explanation. But you have said a few questions back, I think you were being engaged by my co-commissioner, Commissioner Baloyi. You said that when you shared some communications with Sergeant Mkhwanazi, you understood that because of their proximity, he would probably share those with Mr. Matlala. Do you remember saying that?
I do, Chair.
Yes. So now you are saying that you were sharing this with Sergeant Mkhwanazi, SAPS member to SAPS member. You confirm that?
I do, Chair.
Yes. Now, bearing in mind your previous response to Commissioner Baloyi, surely then you must have expected that Sergeant Mkhwanazi would probably share even these communications with Mr. Matlala, correct?
That's correct, Chair.
Yes. So it cuts across this idea that this was a SAPS member sharing with a SAPS member as if it would then be contained within the two SAPS members. Do you accept that?
I do, Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you, General. So when you shared this with Sergeant Mkhwanazi, what is important is when you shared it, you didn't say to him, well, let me take a step back. Are you aware of any national instructions or policy that governs the SAPS, that governs the manner in which information, confidential information, is shared amongst members of the service?
General, think about that policy or those prescripts over the tea break, and let's come back at past. Let's adjourn. Ms. Gillian, do you have any idea where the General is?
Thank you. I'm informed by my instructing attorney that he deviated to the bathroom.
Thank you.